but that our views are actually built on foundations laid by the wisest men and women in human history. For example, opposition to national health care is the defense of oneself and one's family and one's liberty. No politician or group of politicians have any authority to violate my God-given rights or your God-given rights. They have no authority over me or you or anyone else in this regard. They are exercising brute force because they are in charge of making and enforcing laws. But such laws are without a constitutional basis, and even more, they violate our natural rights as underscored in the Declaration of Independence. Our government was established to secure our natural rights. This is what the Founding Fathers believed. It was not established to secure the illegitimate exercise of power by a handful of lawless and temporary elites. Our government was established to nurture ordered liberty, not divest us of our humanity. Our government was established to promote life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not thwart it through regulation and oppression, because that's tyranny. Our Constitution represents the best form of government ever created. So why would we exchange it for the daily threat of force and fear that we now hear from the politicians in Washington? James Wilson was one of the great statesmen of the founding era, who too little is talked about these days. And he wrote, "The enemies of liberty are artful and insidious. Liberty herself is treated as a traitor and a usurper. Against these enemies of liberty who act in concert, the patriot citizen will keep a watchful guard." The enemies of liberty, the people who attack private property, the people who attack legitimate enterprises, companies, the people who tear at the fabric of this society, who declare war, in essence, against private behavior that results in profits and wealth creation and job creation and opportunities. There was a time in our country when one generation of politicians in this regard stood on the shoulders of those politicians who preceded them. And while they were imperfect, there was general agreement on the wisdom of our founders and the nation they created for us. Today, there is no such regard for our nation's institutions, traditions, and history. Our president is a statist. That is, he is committed to remaking our society, and he has said so over and over and over again. He wants to replace the Declaration of Independence. He wants to replace the Constitution of the United States. Not overtly, but covertly. He rejects Jefferson and Adams and Madison and Franklin and Washington and Wilson. He rejects the founders and the founding. He does not believe in natural law. He believes he is the law. He does not believe in the individual. He believes in the collective, as people are easier to manage that way. He does not believe in liberty. He believes in the law as force and punishment. And he does not believe in the rule of law. He believes in political expediency. Such a complete break from the nation's founding is truly unprecedented. Here's the test. Was the Revolutionary War fought over economic equality? spreading the wealth, redistributing the wealth? Was the Revolutionary War, was it fought over empowering a so-called benevolent president or a relative handful of members of an elected body to determine your life's fortune? To determine what you could earn, what you could keep, what doctor you could see, how much energy you could use? No, it wasn't. It was fought for liberty and limited government and a just rule of law. The Civil War. Did the Union fight the Civil War for enslavement? For the collective? Or did the Union fight to the bitter end for individual liberty and enforcement of the Declaration and the Constitution? When we have sent our young men and later young women overseas to fight wars, do we send them over there to defend an all-powerful federal government? A massive bureaucracy? Millions of bureaucrats? Are they overseas fighting not for liberty and the Constitution, but for government-run health care and cap and trade? What are they doing overseas? They're carrying the American flag. Those are Americans fighting for American values, not redistribution of wealth. Not against the founding principles, not against the founding fathers, not to remake our society into some left-wing utopia. They are fighting for our founding principles, to protect this society. Is it then too much to ask? Is it too much to ask that we speak out and stand up and keep the pressure on? Government-run health care. This is oppression, looking you right in the face. It's not about health care. And it never was. The government doesn't provide health care. Oh, yes, it'll pay for some. It'll have some doctors and nurses and hospitals on the payroll. But it's the private sector. It's the individual that makes health care possible, not some federal bureaucrat or politician. Oh, and always with the promises. Ladies and gentlemen, the most vile, hideous, inhuman tyrants on the face of the earth make promises too. And they lie. All the time they lie. They have a high threshold for everybody else's misery. Barack Obama, Harry Reid, and Nancy Pelosi must know. They must know that what they're doing is destructive of this society. They are not stupid. Evil, yes. Stupid, no. And what do I mean by evil? I mean people who would use their temporary grasp of power to impose on this nation policies that will destroy this nation from within. It's all around us. It's all around us. Yet some segments of this society refuse to acknowledge it. Other segments of this society insist on defending it.